On this week's episode of the I Fell Into This podcast, it will be hosted by myself, Alexi Heidemann, and Paul Rayner. And this week, our special guest is Sanne Wouters, who is a business coach with Recruitment Founders. So welcome along, Sanne. Great to have you here. And typically what we do with every new guest is talk about how they fell into recruitment, how you fell into recruitment.
A long story, very short. Definitely fell into it. Was studying in Liverpool, and I was trying to find a job, any job. So I applied at supermarkets and just anything really. They wouldn't really have me. Didn't even get any. Wasn't even invited for an interview anywhere. And I saw a job advert that said German-speaking recruitment associate. I don't know, something like that. And I thought, German-speaking. How many German speakers will there be in Liverpool? Like, what are the odds?
I tick that box.
Well, what do I do? That's questionable. I speak Dutch, and at the time, my German was relatively fluent.
Okay.
Went in there, had a very long interview, about 5 hours.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. It went everywhere, and then I got the job. And 2 weeks in, I remember saying, I am recruiting recruiters. Is this a thing? Bearing in mind, I also thought that billings meant the amount of receipts you stacked up from taking people out.
So you were really getting like
yeah,
this.
I had absolutely no idea what I was getting myself into. I did that for, I think, 2 years, and then I went to tech recruitment in London and then moved to Amsterdam doing the same thing.
Wow.
Okay.
I think the rec-to-rec thing, though, is common because I've only been into recruitment for a couple of years, and my first was like, what, so recruiters get other people to... They're recruiters. Why don't they do this?
It was very confusing at the time.
Yeah, imagine. Same for me. So we're on that one.
Yeah. So what led you from going through that recruitment journey to what you do now then? How did that kind of come about?
Quite a lot of things happened in between. I went from rec to tech, and then I did all the things... sort of is usually my intro. Did all the things you want to do. I led teams in 2 locations. I set up an office. I did the top bit, whatever you want to do. I did 54 deals in a year was my record year. So I did permanent contracts, mostly contract at the letter end, and then just a bit of perm to show it because I could. But I definitely did it in a non-sustainable way. And I got a massive, massive burnout. I realized at one point I was sitting in a P&L meeting, and the numbers just I couldn't see the numbers on the Excel sheet. Like, I knew they were there, and nothing the CFO was saying made sense. And at one point we get into this argument, and I'm hearing myself say things, but really illogical. And he goes, Sanne, you're talking about the printer. So I was even looking at the wrong line. Right. And I left that meeting, went to the toilet, cried my eyes out, and I thought, my brain isn't working. Like, my brain's literally not doing the thing it should do. Which is a very, very weird thing. And then the weeks after, at one moment, I couldn't walk anymore. Right. I've not been able to read or write for several weeks. Looking at a pack of spaghetti and thinking there is something on there. I know that for sure, but can't tell you what it is.
Quite a scary thing to go through.
Yeah. And what it is, it's literally your body saying, you haven't listened. We're shutting you down now.
So you didn't have any kind of build-up to this? Or?
I did.
But you
just classically ignored it all.
I'm young, I can...
Yeah. I'm sure, And also, I think it's also you're not aware of what's happening, so you start to doubt yourself, and you think, I'm not capable of doing this job. That's what it must be.
Right.
Maybe I'm panicking. Maybe I haven't slept enough. And you just start... You just don't think... Hold on 1 second. Yeah. It just didn't occur to me.
Were the people around you noticing? Yeah.
But have you ever had someone and you say, hey, make sure you don't burn out, and they then actually pause and stop?
Yeah.
It's not you. It's going to be someone else.
Yeah. But also it just doesn't happen. People do say it, and people have really good intentions, but you think, oh, that's not what's going on. Don't be silly. And then I took some time out. I had a really good relationship with the owners of that business at the time, still do to this day. And we ended up talking about coming back to work. But recruitment isn't something that you can come back 2 hours a week, 4 hours a week, 10 hours. Like you can't really come back like that. Yeah. And so we together decided I would join one of my clients. And I set up TA and projects. So TA, PAM, projects, solid contract for them. And then after a while, I became their COO. But when I did that, I got a message on LinkedIn from someone I interviewed with years beforehand, who said very nicely, I would have never admitted it at the time, but I always thought you were better than me. And now you've left agency, would you consider coaching me? I'm setting up on my own.
Wow.
And that's why I set up my coaching company.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
so
yeah.
just out of the blue from someone asking you.
Yeah,
Then.
and then last summer I went into it full time.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Not sure if that's the answer you were expecting, but
No.
quite the journey.
Yeah, quite the journey. And touching upon the burnout side of things, because obviously, yeah, very scary. How long did it take to kind of get that diagnosis? Did you know, like, how?
It
Because
was.
obviously it's so
I
hard to-
remember going to the doctors, and he just went, "Oh, you're here." And before that, I'd already, you've been going with headaches and your neck and your back and whatnot, right? Little things and digestion. And he said to me, work is like, when you've got like a pot of pens on your desk. And what you're doing is you are working so hard every day to get all the pens out. And then at the end of the day, someone just puts them all back in. And you're in that race and you're not seeing it. Like, this is endless. And so I walked in and he just went, "Oh, you're finally here." So the diagnosis was relatively easy. And then you go through this. Normally in the Netherlands, you have to, I was in Amsterdam at the time, you go through the government has prescribed this program where you get onboarded into it by your employer and you get all sorts of treatments and programs you're taking part of. But because my employer was British at the time, and I absolutely do not blame them for this, they just didn't know how to get me signed up.
Yeah.
So it took, normally you have to start, I think, week 2 or 3. I started month 3. But I did get like sort of counselling from the GP, and I don't know, I don't really remember a lot from that period. And all they told me was just sleep. All you need to do is just sleep. So I slept for about 3 months. Meaning that when I then got into that program, I was much more receptive to what was going on and much more ready to start working on myself. I was already through that phase of acknowledging what happened.
Yeah.
You'd recognised it.
Yeah. So that's also why after 6 months, I went back to work, which I will say in hindsight was too soon.
Right. Yeah.
I could do it, but if I look back on it, it was slightly too soon.
Okay.
So if you look back as well, actual burnout as a word might mean a lot of different things, right? Do you look back and say, I was putting in too many hours, I was working too much, not taking the right breaks, not spending enough time for me? What do you attribute to that burnout?
If I make a little bridge to what I see with a lot of founders also, and why I think a lot of founders.
Good link.
It is. Recruitment requires a level of intensity and ferocity. It just does. You can't do recruitment and not care about it.
Yeah.
You just can't, right?
Or not be good at it.
Or not, yeah. I always say if you're going to be an average recruiter, do something else. But the thing is, there's different ways to bring that level of intensity. And what I do see a lot of founders do, and I think that's also in a way what I did in the past for a period of time. First of all, trying to do everything at the same time. I remember I was completely managing a resource team. I had to train every member of my team, managing teams in 2 different countries. There were 360s in there, there were 180s in there. I did all the client side. I was also the HR person of the office, the local trainer, the compliant, like everything ran to me. And I should have 100% said to the owners, I cannot do this.
You were wearing too many hats.
Yeah, way too many.
Yeah.
And we've had such honest conversations with each other. I cannot say how grateful I've been for those, where they've also said, it was crazy what we asked, but we didn't realize because you just did it.
Yeah.
Right? And then when I look at founders and I see that happening, which is why I very much moved towards a much more sustainable way, I shall say, to still bring in that passion. But there's also a lot of people who do recruitment in a stop-start manner. You work really, really hard to get a job. You get the job on, you work really, really hard to fill it. And then you go again, and you go again, and you go again.
Yeah.
And actually, that's not running a business. That's gambling. But you're on a winning streak, so you keep going. And when you're
Because you think what you're doing is right.
Yeah. And when you're on a losing streak, you just think you need to do more.
Yeah.
Do more of it, and it will be fine. So I think it was a combination of definitely wearing way too many hats. I also, if I look back, my business didn't have enough. I was the only person doing BD. We did have 360 in the UK, but they worked a different market. So I was the only person doing BD, trying to feed quite a lot of people. And I should have simply said, hold on, we don't have the client base to do this. And I can't split myself into 100 pieces. So definitely say yes to way too many things.
Okay. Yeah. And then when you got approached to do the coaching,
Yes.
what were your initial thoughts on that? Did you think no, or were you like,
Oh no, it was definitely hell yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
And then I set up, and I remember some of my old contractors came to me and said, "Oh, we see you've set up on your own." I did set up slightly before I joined the consultancy as a TA and a COO, by the way. So there was this little in between period.
Okay.
And I had contracts from way in the past who went, "You've always been good to us. We're going to be good to you." I'm starting a project. I've got 5 people, but can you do the contracts and then you can take a margin? And I was like, what? And people went, hey, can you hire for us again? So there's also been a period in time where I did recruitments in my company, but my heart is just really into coaching.
Yeah.
And it was really nice I'll say the need was there, and that's why I built my business.
Yeah.
And it just clicked. And it made sense.
Was it a skill set then that you had that you maybe didn't know you had so much? That you could connect with people like that?
No, I knew I had it because in my previous job in agency, here's the thing I'm not good at, and this is also the thing I don't do. Rookies, terrible.
Okay.
Also, one of the reasons I got burnout, right? By training people who don't know what recruitment is, it's just not my thing. But what I'm really good at is you build 250K and you've been building that for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
How can you get to more? And looking into your process, looking into the things you do, looking into your behavior, your traits, everything, analyzing that, and then lifting you up.
Okay.
That I'm good at. And I thought, well, if I can do that with experienced 360 recruiters, then I can do that with people who set up on their own.
Yeah.
Bringing in the burnout experience, but also I have scaled the business. I did bring in the numbers. I have been a hiring manager eventually, through which I also saw silly things we do in recruitment that you think, why the hell are we doing this? Why does anyone think this is going to work? And I think that combination made me naive enough to believe that people would like to be coached by me.
Right.
But also that I can actually help people build a more sustainable way where they can then unleash their passion into it, but in a way that actually works for them.
Okay. So did you feel when you made that, it's quite a big transition, I suppose, to jumping to the other side and helping people that are starting their own business, that there was part of your skill set that was missing at all in able to push your ideas and thinking onto someone else?
You mean for them?
Yeah, so I mean, full sort of business skills in being able to provide, and you think, that self-doubt, I think a lot of people have. It's like, okay, I've been a recruiter, but do I really know about business? Do I know enough about coaching to actually get you to spend money on
me?
My time?
Yeah. No. So my dad is an investor, and that obviously really helps with business knowledge. He's been a member of the board of Philips, so everything when it comes to business knowledge, how to bring a service to the market, what to do, is common talk at our dining room table. And one of the things that I begin with a lot of founders is they had a market working in a bigger agency, and they sort of kind of take that market with them.
Yeah.
In every industry where you're going to sell a product or a service, you do what is called a Porter's 5 forces analysis. It's literally an analysis of the forces that work with you or against you in the market, to know what your proposition is going to be, to know what the value add is going to be, to know what the problem it is that you're solving, to do your price and all of that. In recruitment, we don't. We just say, hey, you are now going to do .NET in Berlin. And why don't you work with scale-ups? That sounds like a great plan, right? And we've done no analysis of that market. And then we say, and fees? Well, you're going to do PAM, so you're going to charge, well, you're always going to ask for 25%.
Because everyone else does.
Because everyone else does. And then
But
when
you can
need
come
to
down
drop,
to 15.
right? That's what you do. And
We've
so,
been there.
and when I work with founders, I then also go, but you're pricing, okay, what service are you offering when someone says 24%? What is the 1% you are not delivering? What is the 1% you are delivering when they say, yeah, but I'll pay 26? But equally, a solopreneur can make more profits sometimes from working at 19% than a large agency can working at 22%.
Yeah.
So why are you pitching the same thing? So anyways, that's a big...
I want to bring you up a quote here, right?
Yeah.
So, check you out on your LinkedIn, and it's perfect what you just said there.
Okay.
So, a quote from your LinkedIn, and you're going to, did I write that? So you said, my manager says I drop my pants too easily.
Yes.
So I asked, what do you remove from your service when your clients ask for 5% reduction?
Yeah.
What
Literally
you just sort
that.
of brought up there. Yeah.
Literally that. This is with a US company. The recruiter who said that, he drops me a message every time I put that quote on LinkedIn. It's a very good quote.
Well, I'm going to bring it up as
LinkedIn.
well. So we'll get into it.
Yeah. And he did say, well, it was about negotiations. And he said, oh, my manager says I drop my pounds too easily because I just go, I know I can come down to 20%.
Yeah. Yeah. Easy.
And this is about recruiters also not knowing the levers they hold and the levers they can pull.
Yeah.
But there should be a difference when you deliver 25 or when you deliver to 20%, because otherwise you should pay everyone their money back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're either charging too much or you're not delivering enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simples.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. You like that quote, didn't
I
you?
do. That's why I wrote it down.
Yeah. That's
I'm going to get it into the podcast somewhere. I'll wait for you to see if you bring it up, and you kind of did there. It's when you kind of look at it like that, and it's obvious, right? It's smacking in your face, but it's not obvious because everyone's doing it. It's like, well, and for early days, is right. If you're an early startup founder and you're looking for business, so right, I'll take anything, right? You can see why you get into that mindset.
It's bad habits as well, isn't it? That they
Because you
pick
stay
up
with
from
that,
agency, like you said. We'll work at 25%, but you can drop to 15. So it's the easiest thing for that consultant to sell is, oh, they said no, so I came down to 15 because you said that's fine.
Yeah.
They're not learning it in the right way initially anyway, right? But particularly here in the UK, I think it's always a race to the bottom compared to other countries, the way they do it as well.
As well as, and I don't know if you saw that, I had a little debate with someone because I say that transparency is not USP. And then they went, but I'm transparent about my margins. And I'm like, poo-hoo, that was a thing 10 years ago. Like now, every RFP will force you to be transparent. But real transparency, to me, would be, I charge 20% because my operating cost for payroll is this, my insurance cost is this, my payment delay with the client is this, and therefore I need to do this, which costs me X, and I like to make some profit, and this is my profit.
Yeah.
Right? That would be transparency. But the average recruiter cannot tell you what sits in there, 22 or 25 or whatever percent fee it is. They can't.
Or they haven't built the value proposition
No.
to say to their client, well, actually, the amount of time I'm spending in bringing the right clients to you justifies that client I know through the data I've got is going to stay with you for longer, because we spent more time, more minded you getting that person in the first place. That's the value that maybe is being missed out that says, well, this is why I'm charging that, not so much as, what it's costing me.
What is the gain for the client as well? Where does that sit? And that also goes back to skills, which is we all take a job description of what should that person be doing, but it is what is your world missing without that? But what is the value out of this person? If this person is a nice to have, why would you pay a 25% fee for a nice to have?
Yeah.
If this person is mission critical and you need to find them tomorrow, that's different. But also square pegs round holes. I had a client in the Netherlands, 25% retainer, 2 jobs. They were the easiest jobs in the world. They were, English speaking was allowed. They would relocate people. They would sponsor visas. Bizarre that I got away with a retainer. Anywho's, the process was a nightmare because recruitment sat in the US and recruitment wanted to redo my pre-screens, and recruitment wanted to make their own cover sheets, and recruitment wanted to arrange the interviews with the hiring manager, and they'd get arranged in US times, and then the next morning you come into the office and find out that your interview hadn't happened because someone rescheduled, and it was a nightmare. They wanted to do the offer, not set a salary, and I was just pulling my hair out thinking, why are you retaining me?
Yeah.
And then we filled both jobs and they went, right, and now the next. And I was like, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah.
And I had an honest conversation where I said, but why? And then we really quickly realized, and this is the part of, what part of my service do you not want?
Yeah.
If you don't want to pay 25%, what do you not want? But in this case, it was also, again, square pegs round holes. We had a long conversation and it turned out what they needed wasn't the process and it wasn't my guidance. They needed CVs and their US recruiters weren't able to source in European time.
Right.
So what we did is for a year, we invoiced them 10K a month and sent them 10 CVs. And what they did with them was up to them.
Okay.
And you could say that's a bad deal because if they hired all of them, but if they hired none of them,
Yeah.
if you could get £1,000 for every CV you've ever sent, I'd say that's happy days.
Well, also, yeah, particularly the time that's saving you in the long run from having to deal with all
work other
that.
things.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's to come back to your question from an hour ago.
You moved on nicely.
But I think that's also when it comes to having someone to soundboard with what you're doing. Because don't forget, being a founder can be very lonely. Even when you have people, you're the founder.
Right.
Having someone to soundboard with and to sort of sense check. I literally have coachees who say, I always ask, what were the 3 most beneficial things to you from this session? And I have people who say, just to have an hour, where I can just talk and see whether what I'm doing is the right thing or makes sense. Is a big thing. And to those others, I look at from a business perspective, does your business make sense? Does your market make sense? Does your pricing make sense? What value are you actually offering? Who are you competing with? Are you competing or are you just there?
Yeah.
You're removing those blinkers
Yeah.
from that person, I think, as maybe they've got these traits in that they've always done something, and there's like that realization, is this the right way? Actually, because you're speaking to lots of different businesses and you're kind of getting the soundboard of everyone, you're that reasonable bounce off, I suppose.
I think that's a really nice summary. Should put that on my website.
He'll charge you. So when kind of founders approach you then, what are kind of their key pain points really? Why do they come to you? Is it a variety of reasons or are there more common themes?
I would say there are 3 common themes.
Okay.
Accountability, BD, and that soundboard.
Yeah. Yep.
I think accountability comes from working in an office where someone tells you need to be online between these and these hours or sit in the office versus walking into your living room is a different world.
Yeah.
BD, again, as I said, there is stop-start. There is the big difference between doing it for a brand, doing it yourself. But there is also knowing that what you're doing is the right thing that moves the needle forward. And I think those also go hand in hand with when you set up on your own, it is very easy to fall into the trap of preferences over priorities.
Yep.
I don't push anyone into you have to do this. We always find a system or something that benefits their business because you've set up for a reason on your own. There are things you want to do, things you don't want to do. It needs to work for you. So I don't have one size fits all. But it's about what are you going to do? How much time are you going to spend on it? What are the activities you need to do that you believe in and that work for your market and that will move the needle forward? And then there is that soundboarding element to it. But I would say those are the 3 big ones.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. And so every founder you work with is a different it's a tailored coaching solution that you're providing them with based on what they need as well.
So I've got 2 tracks. One is the BD, which is very clearly BD focused, but always tailored to your business and the market you want to do. Some markets are more candidate driven, the training becomes more right? And then the other one, which is the majority, is very tailored, where we do a intake session, which is like a deep dive, and we really go into where are you now, where do you want to go, what is it we need to work on, and what is it you want my help on, because you won't need my help for everything. And I do like to say it can be a variety of topics. Hit me. But so far, nobody has come with any subtopic that I don't have content on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can be leadership. It can be hiring the right people. It can be scaling in a way that you have a blueprint and that actually is repeatable, because it's not that you're some kind of
replicate yourself.
And it's not because you're a recruitment genius that we can make other people fit that mold. So how are we actually going to build a scalable business? But it can also be de-risking your business. You're a solopreneur, you've got 2 good clients, but one might not be hiring next year. That feels hard, like all of those kind of things. And it can be work-life balance. You set up for a reason, you want to be spend more time with your family, and you find yourself working more than ever.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're kind of working with these founders then, obviously talking about a lot of different things with them, what are the main challenges you kind of face with them? Is there any pushback at any time, or what are the kind of key things you maybe struggle with getting points across or anything like that?
So first of all, I love working with founders because they're the ones paying for it. I then do say, when you ask me nicely, I'll coach a team, and I'm talking about the beginning members, as I said, not grad, not my thing, but very founder focused. Now the thing is, if you're going to come to me and you want to put in the money, you want to do the work.
Yep. There's commitment there already.
There is commitment there.
Yep.
So after like sort of we do a get to know call, and then we'll see. I always say, there's one thing I don't do, and it's chasing you. I'm not going to chase you, because I have to chase you to get better. We're doing the wrong thing here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then in my coaching, I always say there's one reason. I do say a lot. What I always say, as if I'm 90 years old. I'm an old spirit. There's one reason, and one reason only, my coaching won't work. It's because we agree something in this session, and then you don't do it.
Yep.
So if you find, you might say, oh, that sounds like a great plan, and then 2 days and you think it's not working for me. The one thing my coachees don't do is just sit on it. No, it's message me, call me, whatever you want. We'll find a new way that you can test. So actually, when it comes to, I would say there's a very large level of acceptance and of excitement to try things.
Yeah.
Because people want to get better.
Yeah.
I think when you go through the effort of finding a PT in the gym and you're paying the PT, you're also not going to say, 12 reps. No, I'm not going to do that. That does not sound like a plan.
Yeah. You've come to them for a reason.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So they should
PT for recruiters.
That's kind of...
I had that on my LinkedIn for a long time.
Yeah.
That
Well,
was
I thought I just thought of that.
No, sadly not.
Right,
Sadly
okay.
not. Sadly not.
Okay, you can still charge me for the other one. Going back to the point there, though, another quote I got for your LinkedIn, and this is the only two that I've got. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. You can't teach someone to want to win, which is, again, what you kind of picked up on there. It's like, well, if you're just coming to me and you don't really have it in you, you don't really want it, that epitomizes that, right? And that comes across anything. I think of it from a sports background. You can take someone out on the football field and go for as many different drills and everything as run them into the ground, but when it comes to that big match, if they don't want it, they're not going to win. So that's not something that you can help them with. It's got to come from they've got to have that will to do that in the first place. I suppose the point that they've come to you and have said, I want this, I want the coaching, that's a good start, isn't it? So they're already wanting to
it's
win,
a good start, but I remember you've asked me in the past, are there people you don't work with? There are people who, I'm sitting in a discovery call, like a, hey, who are you kind of call. And then when it comes to who I don't want to work with, there are still recruiters where coaching is a vanity project, because it's really cool to say you've got a coach, apparently.
Okay.
Sort of a red flag's just gone off.
Yeah, and I'm like, or the kind of people who just want confirmation that what they're doing is the right thing.
Right. Yeah.
And then I'm like, go and ask your mum. Don't ask me.
Yeah.
That's silly.
I'm not adding value to that.
Well, but there's nothing there. And recruitment has been very good to me. I don't need to say yes to a coach either. I don't want to coach, because I like to have fun in my calls and just, there's... you might be able to tell I'm a very energetic person. And if I feel drained at the end of a session, it's not right.
Yeah.
It's not right. And then the last group I blatantly say no to is the kinds who absolutely believe in spray and pray recruitment. Who sort of want to go on coaching to prove that it's the right thing. No.
Yeah.
Just put your salary, put it on a roulette wheel, and have fun with that.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. That makes sense. And I think, absolutely, in terms of they've got to want it, right? I think we see it in people we launch, right? No point launching someone with a new business if they don't really want it.
Yeah.
You've got to want it.
If you need to be chasing these people to say, hey, can we talk about your business plan, then what are we doing?
I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
Same red flags, isn't it?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Those who are like showing that real drive and determination, they just want to get better, right? That's it. They've got something already, but they want to improve. That's kind of the ones you want to be working with.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That makes sense. And then, interesting to see in terms of the ones, you don't want to work with then. Have there been any instances where you've had to you've started working with someone and then you're like, actually, this is, you've kind of gone a bit off the rails here?
Not with founders directly. It does happen when people ask me to coach their team. I've lived in the Netherlands, so I'm very direct. But also, I'm not part of your business. I'm removed from the team. So I don't know this person. And it is relatively easy for me to sit in a call. My boyfriend really laughs with this because I can come out of a session or a workshop and say, that guy's not going to be there for long. And he goes, but how do you know? And I'm like, and then I do a debrief and I go, you're not asking me, but, and I go, this dude, you've clearly hired him for a reason. I don't see what that is. And I think this and this and this. And then my boyfriend does call me a snitch. Rightfully so. And then it does happen that these people, you know, it's very often as an owner or as a team lead, deep down but we like to keep giving people chances.
It's a similar thing, I think, isn't it, with the commitment thing? Like, even with hires, right? They've got to really want it.
There you go.
They've got to really be putting in the effort. They're the ones who are going to be the strong billers and have the strong network. And
at that moment in time, my loyalty lies with the founder.
Yeah.
And if I'm coaching your team, I'm thinking, this is your personal money that you are spending on this idiot who's just come into work and who'd rather do something else than sit in your office but pretends to because they like a bit of money.
Yeah.
And this might sound weird, but my moral compass then is too high for me to just let that pass. I feel I need to say that to you.
There's a balance there, right? Everyone's got a level of humanity.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like,
Mine might be very low.
Yours might be lower than mine. Like, I'm sensing yours is lower than mine, but there's part of me that would say, okay, this person
I like
needs
when
a
you
chance.
do that.
But
Yeah.
there would come a stage where I'd be saying, this ain't going anywhere. And you're doing everyone a favour there, right? The founder is paying you for your expertise and your opinions and everything else. You'd be failing yourself and that commitment, that partnership, if you kept quiet and said, well, actually, because my heart's feeling a bit sorry for that person, that doesn't mean I shouldn't be saying it, because actually I'm actually doing that person a favour as well, right? Because they can go and
do something else
that they enjoy, or
you know who are the ones that are worth investing that time in.
I can get my dad to do 2 deals. That doesn't mean I should.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people like that where I'm sure they can do a deal and then they go off performance management and then they fall into it again. But the amount and the amount of effort it takes from others, it's just not worth it.
I guess if you're quite a small business still as well, and you're holding on to those people for too long, and that's having a massive impact on your business, isn't it? Yeah.
And as I said again, it is your own money.
Yeah, it's important to spend it wisely. Yeah, absolutely. And then you touched upon helping those with work-life balance, which is really hard, I think, for founders, particularly in the early stages, that first year, to manage that, because getting business off the ground is tough, building it from scratch. So, and work-life balance isn't necessarily just for that year one. Obviously, scaling and growing comes more stresses and more time. So how do you kind of navigate that then with them?
You just want me to tell you all
I just want these secrets, so I can pass them on as my own.
There's literally that. And there's going to be one-on-one coaching available after this.
There's a reason we got you on,
This thing is not recorded. There's a thing called McKinsey's 3 Horizons. Again, it comes from, when you do an MBA, there's always McKinsey's 3 Horizons. When you do recruitment, you never see it. The idea is that every business goes through you're always in a different horizon. Initially, you're building. Then you are maintaining and adding, and then you're sort of in the you've made it phase, and you really have a company now. Let me explain that differently. In the beginning, you have to find clients. Then you will have more existing ones, but you still need to top up the funnel, and then it will be largely existing, and you're still topping up the funnel, and you're growing the team very much in the last one, right? You still have 40 hours a week, maybe 60, maybe 80. I'm not recommending it, but maybe you do. But you'll always have the same hours. But the amount of time you're spending on each activity differs, because recruitment is easily candidates, clients, jobs, CVs, interviews, office, somewhere, not in that order, but and what McKinsey's 3 Horizons do, it shows you when do you need to do what? What is your business stage in? What stage is your business in? So for example, there are so many founders who are setting up and they spend hours and hours on building a website. And here's the thing, nobody knows your brand.
I feel we like that one. We've seen it.
They think the website will deliver them all this business.
And they then go, oh, and I need this extension so people can upload their CV. And I'm like, tell me, when in your life have you placed a candidate who came through the website? Just when? And the client would upload your job or your project here, like, just don't worry about that. So I then break it back down into what are the big blocks. So it is BD, it is candidates, it is, admin, loads of little blocks. How much time should you be spending where? In which horizon? And in horizon 1, you should really be building your company. And it's the same with a desk. The reason people bill 150 or 200K forever is because they never built their desk properly in the first place. They're the ones who 2 years in still go on a Monday, I need to build a list on Bullhorn because I've got nobody to call. If you're that, you've not done the work properly, and therefore you can never go to stage 2 where you are either living a more comfortable life or getting your business ready to scale because you didn't do the foundation right. And I think work-life balance comes from, what is it I actually need to do in these 8 to 10 hours? And how can I, and that's in my second thing, and it's not a secret, it is on my LinkedIn.
I'm going back through your LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of time management in the sense of, for example, a Pomodoro timer, things that won't distract you, to make sure. I prefer a founder who says, I want to do max half an hour of BD a day. I am not going to do more BD, but who actually does BD for half an hour.
Yeah.
Then someone who says, I'm going to do it for 6 hours and ends up phoning 2 people.
If that's from your kitchen, then there's a half-hour coffee break in there. Because again, your brain is probably saying that I really don't want to do BD, therefore I'm going to find a distraction to not do BD. But I'm convincing myself that I spent 2 hours doing BD when actually I haven't.
Yeah, I did a workshop on this, on time management excellence for recruiters. And I asked people, I did a little survey, and I think it is something else. So the average recruiter thinks they do 5 to 6 hours of BD, and they speak with 4 people in that time. And I'm like, who are you kidding?
The maths doesn't add up.
No, the maths isn't nothing. So, and I think work-life balance is about, when you're in work, you're doing work, so that when you're with your family, you don't feel guilty about the work you didn't do. So the hours you're going to spend on it, do the activities with intent. What are you actually going to do? Rather than, someone said the other day, they realized that in the morning they are sending loads of spec emails because they do the US market, and then in the afternoon they can make calls. And then he went, but I've never even gotten a bite of my spec email. I'm just filling my morning because I think I should. Because I think I should be doing that.
When there's actual no return of that.
So
that
why are you doing
activity
that?
could be spent doing something else.
Or go to the gym and work later.
If your market's the US, you'll just work afternoons, and then evenings, morning should be your time then.
I like you were saying about the sort of guilty aspect as well, and something you see all over LinkedIn and everywhere else as well, about people on holiday that have got their laptop and they've done something from the
wearing it like a badge of honor.
It kind of is, isn't it? And it's like, but I'm still working. I'm going away next week, but I'm still working.
The 5 a.m. clubbers and things like that you see on LinkedIn, as if that should be the norm.
I think that might have also been part of my burnout. I was a member of the 5 a.m. club. Just don't.
That's the thing, right? If you want to be in this for a long time, you can't be.
And what you say about the laptop is, I get it. You just set up your business, and you're like, I don't mind working from whatever holiday destination. Okay, but your wife's next to you and your kids are in the pool, and I can guarantee you they mind.
And that's it.
That's probably the reason why you did this in the first place, right?
One of the reasons, and then you won't get that time. You can't get that time back.
Can
no.
you?
You can make more money, but you can't get that time back.
Same with mums who want to spend time with their kids, but they do this one more call, and then their kid does something, and there's little accident and whatnot, and then you get mum guilt, and you feel horrible for picking up the phone. But here's the thing: if you manage these calls and people know when you are available and when you aren't, and you're very strict about it, people will know you are strict about phone times. Whether if you're the one that, we've got a meeting at 5, but if you want to call at 5:30, fine, people call you at 5:30.
I think we know that as well, though, because times have moved on. People are more flexible now. People know that people have families.
Yeah.
They balance all these things. You say, I'm not available between these times. Everyone's okay with that, right? No one
Yeah.
says.
Yeah, but
"How
as a
dare you
founder,
not-"
you still think
No,
you
but
have to.
In your own mind, yeah, you're right. What do you mean I'm not
Yeah.
going to work between 12 and 2?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I have a founder who feels guilty
Yeah.
because he walks into the office at 8:45 because he dropped his kid off at 8:30. But he set up his business to be more with
To
his
do that.
children.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
That conflict in punch
Yeah.
up that's going inside, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had founder on the podcast before, Simon Arnold, who talked about how he's a solopreneur and how he structures his day. And he was like, I worked out pretty early on that between sort of 12 to 3, I wasn't very productive. He goes, I'm just doom scrolling.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm doing, because I'm sat at my desk.
Yeah.
I'm not actually doing anything. So he just then started going, well, that's my gym time, or go to the driving range, or do whatever. And then he was like, I'll then come back and log on later, because he's not chained to a desk 9 to 5. So he was
Exactly.
working out what his strengths were.
Yeah.
And it's a similar thing. He could just do that, probably earn less money because he's not doing things at the right times, and then not enjoy his actual life as well.
Yeah.
Which is one of the
And I
reasons he
think as a
said.
consequence, you're also less productive in the hours that you are productive because you've had a bit of a lazy afternoon. Whereas if you've gone for a run, you've done all the things you want to do, you feel energized, and you actually run and saying, I've got to get myself together. No, you're there. You're present.
Are people often shocked when you tell them to implement these things, because they always think they need to be
There
doing
are
more?
two responses. Either we get the cool person response with this isn't rocket science. I could have told this on myself.
Why did I pay you to tell me
And
that?
I'm like, yeah, you could have. But you didn't.
So you
Yeah.
didn't think of
Exactly.
it.
Yeah. Or you were so right. Why am I not doing
Light
this?
bulb moment.
Yeah. That's another one from my LinkedIn. You give me little light
I'm
bulbs.
too good at this.
Yeah. Light bulb moments. Yeah.
Or the realization of like nothing that I say is rocket science. It isn't really hard, but it either comes from business world, or translating that to recruitment, or it comes from an outsider looking in.
Yeah, it's someone you need. Again, it comes to that sounding board probably aspect of it, right? You just need to hear it from someone
Yeah.
else. You need that validation to say, yeah, it's all right to take a break, or you can structure it this
I've
way.
coached someone whose average deal was 7.5K, and they wanted to bill $500,000 a year. I think we
Wow.
all know.
We're doing the maths again here.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
That's ain't math,
that's
that
not
one.
math there. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's a 80-hour week.
Like, so I said, maybe you should, what market do you do? Oh, I do this. And what do you place? Well, entry level. And I went, maybe you shouldn't do entry level. And again, this isn't mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just someone else just kind of
Yeah.
giving that slap around the face to say, well, it was staring you in the face. You just weren't receptive to it.
Yeah, or when people come to me with their great billing target for the year, and then I say, okay, and how many existing clients do you have? And they go, oh, I've got 10. Fantastic. How much are you going to bill and which one? And they go, what do you mean? And they just don't know who's going to hire what. They just wait for a client to say, oh yeah, I am hiring now. And then the realization that you can actually pre-plan so that you can work out how many new clients you have. It's not magic.
It's just getting the strategies in place and having the data right behind it as
and
well.
having someone who pulls you out of that day-to-day rut you're in, the way you've always done it, and says, hold on, if you want something different, we're going to do a little change.
Yeah.
So how many clients do you typically work with? Do you sort of set yourself limits so that you're not working with too many people?
Yeah, 20 at a time.
20 at a time.
Yeah, because 20 means I can still know everyone's name. Because I also, so 20 at a time might not seem like a lot, but I used to do this formula with, I'll coach you once a month. That has changed to you pay for a certain set of sessions and you book them in whenever.
Yeah.
And there are people who book them in twice a week, or who split their hour into half hours because they want to, on a Monday, set out what we're going to do, and then on a Thursday go exactly.
Gotcha.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
Or who just want to do session, and then nothing for 6 weeks to implement it. So I've become more fluid on it, but 20 a month also means I have time to prep and to know what's happening in your world before you come into the session, that I can know you, but also that when you leave me a voice note, I can actually still respond.
Yeah. And I guess it helps with you not burning out as well by working with too many. You're not going back to that old time as well. Yeah.
Yeah, literally, as I frequently post on LinkedIn about my great life as an entrepreneur, but I really enjoy it. I work, I don't know if I should say this on a podcast, 2.5 days a week in my business, and then which is Tuesday half a day on Wednesday and Thursday full day. And Monday and Friday, I'm either working on my business or I'm off.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the life I've designed for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, again, the life Recruitment gave me, and I'm very grateful for it and whatnot. But also, I can't be telling people how to get to a fantastic life and not have it myself, right?
Yeah.
Be working 80 hours.
Exactly.
Telling
people
Sorry?
not.
You can't hide behind that.
Yeah.
No, you can't hide.
Yeah.
And it does mean, look, I know
You made it work for you.
Yeah, and I know I don't have, when I do have 20 clients on at the same time, there isn't massive flexibility in the diary. I get that. And I do say to people, if something's really urgent, tell me, I care about you. And 20 allows me for that flexibility.
Yeah.
30 just wouldn't.
Yeah. And I guess it's important as well for that, like you said, if you're teaching others how to work-life balance and not have burnout, if you're suffering from burnout, they're like, well,
I can't be
you're,
tired in
you're
session.
stressed.
Yeah,
So how you teaching
literally.
me not to be stressed?
Literally, yeah. You look tired. Are you okay?
So you've kind of built this solopreneur lifestyle for yourself, made your business work. Would you ever think about kind of expanding that out and bringing other coaches in with you?
No, because my brand is me.
Sure.
Yep.
And I'm very
Something
well
you
aware
think you
of
could
that.
replicate and...
No, it's very short.
No one else like you.
It's not humble. It's not. Well, okay, find me another recruitment coach who did more than 50 deals a year.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah.
Tell me who they are.
Yeah.
I'd love to know. Tell me who actually didn't just sit in TA, but, and again, this does not sound humble, but I was a COO. I hired tech people directly, and I hired the world's best TA, by the way, in that company as well. But there are different jobs being a TA or being the manager yourself. And I've sat in both those seats. Give me a coach who's done that. Give me a coach who's set up an overseas office. Give me a coach who managed people in different locations. Tell me who.
Yeah.
I'd love to know.
Yeah.
So when people say, oh, I'm going to be honest, I'm speaking with another coach, I never push and I never try to sell myself, because either I'm right for you or I'm not.
So we're saying no.
Yes.
But that's fair enough as well. If they're not going to match what you think you can bring to the table, what's the point?
Totally
Because again, you're devaluing your service then. If you're like, oh, you won't work directly with me, but you'll work with this other person. They're not as good, but I'm going to charge you. So yeah. So no, that makes sense. Okay, cool.
Glad it does.
It does. And also, you've built this for the purpose of having the lifestyle you want now as well. So if you were to bring anyone on, managing them involved, more time to do that as well for you. So it would kind of counteract what you've done, your why behind this a bit as well.
And it's, again, with everything I preach about intent. And to me, the business I built, I consciously built this way, and everything I do is with intent to have the business this way.
Yeah. It's not one Paul brought out, but one of the quotes I liked.
Have you got your own quotes of this?
I didn't have.
Have you done some research?
Didn't have to write them down, like Paul, all up here. Was the intent part, BD with intent, and it comes. You've already touched upon this, but my point is 6 hours of BD if you're only going to speak with 3 people. If you can speak with four people in an hour, that's your BD.
Yeah.
Like it's the quality of it, as opposed to I'm just filling this time gap because I don't know what else to do.
Yeah. Yesterday I posted something about, if you are reading this post, you aren't really doing BD right now. And then I did get DMs from
Get off.
I didn't comment.
LinkedIn didn't really like that post. So the algorithm didn't quite favour it.
Yeah.
However, I did get DMs from people saying, you really called me out.
That's pretty good.
Hey, it's a catch
guilt
to that.
trip,
Yeah. No, I quickly scroll by. I didn't see that one. Oh yeah. No, I think that's and it is that mindset. You touched upon it, Paul. It's having the right mindset behind why are you doing it. Everything should have a purpose. And what's the return of investment on what you're spending this time doing? Yeah. What 6 hours of that? What's that got monetary value is going to be behind that?
Yeah, and return on investment, again, from a business perspective, the time you're spending with this client, what is the return on investment? Are you calling Joanna because you like her,
Mm-hmm.
and she's easy to call because she's very chatty, or you call Joanna because, yeah, you like her and you're chatty and whatnot, but there's also business value to that. A client where I can fill 10 jobs will get more FaceTime from me than a client that's going to hire one this year, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can still be friendly in your social time if you really want to, but there should be some business sense into it as well.
There's a bit of human nature coming into that, though, isn't there? You know, you phone up someone who maybe you've previously spoke to before, you've got a bit of a good relationship with, but maybe I'm going to get business from, against, actually, I really want to get in with those people, but I don't really know them, got no relationship there. That's going to be a tough call. Put that one off.
Yeah, and that's why with the McKinsey Touring Horizons, I split new BD from existing BD. And that you have to tell me how much time you're going to spend where.
Yeah.
Because if you just put it in one category as BD, you're going to think you've done a lot of BD because you have an hour call time. But 55 minutes of that, you spent calling with Pete, who you placed with last year.
Yeah.
Totally different calls as well.
Yeah, and then you did 2 dials that didn't connect, but you think you've done an hour of BD.
Yeah.
Makes you feel better.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it doesn't move the needle forward.
No. Yeah, that's really great, that. Yeah.
Your head did a lot of saying something but nodding the other way.
I think it caught up with him. It's like,
No, I find it so interesting in terms of how many people don't focus on these things.
It's breaking down the psychology, isn't it?
Who just go through the motions for the sake of going through the motions. And again, I think that comes back to poor training as well when they first got into recruitment, like KPIs just set in for the sake of it, of speak to 10 people today, and they're like, I spoke to 10 people, but I got nothing
What
out
does
of
that
it.
mean?
10-0 people is 0.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly. So I think it's a combination of all that, but I think it's hugely important why like your service and coaching is so crucial, and that not only for recruiters but founders, you know, that you can never stop learning in recruitment and in business in general, I think, anyway. So
I agree.
think it's hugely valuable. Yeah. And then advice wise then, so what would you give to someone or anyone who either is a new founder or thinking about starting up on their own? Obviously we've covered probably quite a lot already, but are there any key things, or 1 or 2 key things you would say as points of advice for anyone looking at that?
Yes. Know who you're calling.
Yeah.
Rather than just a person because I think. Know who you're calling, and knowing what problem you are exactly solving. Just doing SAP in Germany is not solving a problem. You need to pinpoint exactly what that is. And then lastly, I would say, figure out or come up with a number of how many people do you think you should speak with, and then call twice as many. Speak with twice as many, because you will never regret pitching too many people. And if there's one thing I would change or if I could change one thing I did in my recruitment career, is I wished I spoke with more people in year 1, because then year 2 becomes even easier, and year 3 becomes even easier. And all you need to do is just go through it in year 1.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do as many of those new BD calls.
No.
Well, that's it. You're building up your
network.
network.
The only call that's the worst one is the one saying, you don't know me and I'm calling you now, right? And I think, without going into it, you know, and extending this conversation for another hour, we also have this high expectation that someone will say, hey, yeah, Paul, great. Why don't I send you times and you can fill 5 jobs of mine on the first call? So there's this great build up, and it's really easy to get rejected. So I say, take the rejection out of that first call. Literally just making an intro. I'm calling, almost let you know that I exist.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not expecting anything.
I'm not expecting it, just telling you I exist.
Yeah.
And then the second call, that person knows you exist, and it's a lot easier. Or whether it's a call or you know, a multimedia approach, whatever you do, multi-channel. But it's about that, getting that first one out of the way.
Yeah.
It's interesting. That's the psychology behind it, right? That's training your brain to handle rejection by taking away the rejection and sort of feeding your ego. It's like, oh no, everyone does like me after all.
Yeah, it's about also taking away the external validation that you're expecting from that call.
Yeah.
And that is the build up between picking up the phone in the first place, isn't it? And
exactly
going to make a cup of coffee.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Oh.
Fantastic.
Great points there. Yeah. Love it.
Cool.
I'm getting quotes back from you. So.
And then finally, if you hadn't fallen into recruitment, what do you think you'd be doing now?
Paul might know if he stalks my LinkedIn.
I didn't go back that far.
Okay. It is my most, it's posted the most amount of impressions. I asked people, what would you do if you weren't? And I put an album on there, like an album cover.
Okay.
Because I'm tone deaf, but if I wasn't, I'd be a country singer.
A country singer.
Right.
Okay. So you're into your country singing
Yeah,
then?
some Johnny Cash, some
Johnny
Dolly
Cash,
Parton.
yeah. Nice. Okay. What would the album be called?
Oh, it would have to be sad, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah.
It's always sad about love
Yeah.
and about alcohol.
Yeah, there's whiskey involved.
Yeah.
Whiskey in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's got to be in there somewhere. So that could be the name of it. Then just sad. What was it? Sad.
Love and whiskey.
Sad, love, and whiskey.
There we
Whiskey.
go.
Yeah.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Before you get onto the difficult second album.
Yeah. Sad, love, and whiskey coming to
Yeah.
Woolworths. Yeah.
How old are you?
Awesome. That'd be cool. But no, really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Great discussion. I think I think we could have gone on for hours on this topic as
definitely
well,
coming
in
back.
all honesty. But you'll have to come back on again. We'll have to do another one of these
I would
in the
love
future,
to.
I think. Yeah.
It's been great fun. It really has
After
been.
she's released the first album.
Yeah. We need to
Second
go.
one will be the country album. Yeah. Then we'll talk about recruitment. Yeah. No, thanks so much for
Excellent
coming
to
on.
meet you. Thank you very much. I've learned such much, and hopefully our listeners will as well.
Yeah. Pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you.